Marky Worthington Podcast all day.
All day.
Dream by night.
Don't buy me a drink. Just give me $10.
All day.
Go down to the strip club with your floppy disk and turn it into a hard drive.
Yeah, right. You'll get fucking thrown out by Big Tony.
We're here to name names and make people feel more ashamed for shit that they're not proud of.
Don't blow it. Keep it simple. Count your money.
No, whatever it is.
This is episode 83
Yes.
with Laura Johnston.
So true.
Good. Hey, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Marky.
Yeah, we nearly let this fall between the cracks. We were like, we didn't sync up. We weren't
really
sure.
Did, yeah. And I was bad at responding to messages, and then I was really good at responding to messages, but I misread the messages. It was a trying time.
People don't understand right now what planets needed to align for this to happen. Like
So
the fact
many.
you're listening to this right now means that we're probably about to see Haley's Comet again.
Yes.
Yeah, if
Tonight,
you get
I
that
reckon.
reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even knew to pre-record it before Haley's Comet came through. But yeah, we're chatting before this about because at my place where I record the podcast, I've got a whiteboard and it's got drawings of people that have visited and
Beautiful drawings.
yeah, well, it all started just with a portrait of me on there, and people thought, well, if you've got a portrait of you, I'm going to draw a picture of myself as well, and it adds up. And then I had this idea that maybe I should do that for like everyone that visits and just make a big wall.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a story I heard about comedy condos. So whenever, usually a comedy club may also have they have a permanent like a condo or something for the people that are performing to stay there, like in bigger areas, like in LA and shit.
Yeah.
And one of the owners had this idea where she had these like little 6-inch by 6-inch canvases
Cool.
with paints just on the table at the condo, and each comedian that came through had to paint a little picture that represented themselves and put it up on the wall. So the wall is just all these
Comedians who have come through and their paintings.
and some of them it was the first time they were headlining, so they have like little sort of references to that as well. So sometimes they'll go back and see, I remember when I first headlined and I did that, and there's this guy called Dean Delray that has this joke about riding on the back of, his mate didn't want to ride on the back of his motorbike and his mate's just like super masculine, and he just goes like, he's just like, no man, I'm not riding nuts to butts with you. And so he drew a little cartoon of nuts to butts.
Yeah.
And he said that because everyone has that joke that people remember, and he said like it took a while for him to have another joke that was bigger than that, so people stopped calling him. It was like, hey, Dean Delray, nuts to butts, man.
Nice.
It's like this Californian dude, he's got that voice, it's just like, whoa, nuts to butts, eh?
If you were to draw something to represent you as a comedian,
Yeah.
Marky, what would you draw?
Wow, this feels so like ABC radio tone. If you were.
Yeah. Would you rather?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you do have the therapist jacket on, so
Thank you.
yeah,
Cheers.
yeah,
It's corduroy for
I've,
those that can't see.
yeah, I will. For anyone that can't see, it's a corduroy jacket, but it's made of about 3 different corduroy jackets.
It is, and it also has many rips and holes. And
That's good.
also not mine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You clearly stole it from someone that desperately needed it, and now they don't have it.
And I should feel bad about it, but I don't.
Yeah, because of therapy.
Yeah. Comedy.
I would draw, if I was to draw something right now, I would draw, okay, I've got this joke. If it was based around a joke,
Yeah.
I have this joke about how, and it's on YouTube, so I don't mind like repeating it. No, I would have repeated it anyway because I like talking. I'm like, it was one of my early jokes I did for a show called Short, Fast, Funny. And I just, I said, I was like, I really like Scotch fingers because like they taste so good. I feel like I like them so much I had both of them, and then I moved up to a packet, and I think I'm getting to the point now where I could take the Scotch fister.
Oh.
And
Okay.
yeah. So I think if I was to draw it, I would just draw like me next to a giant Scotch finger, but it was like in the shape of a
fist.
fist. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's
There you go.
pretty straight to the joke.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty funny actually.
gosh.
It's wild. Like, I tell you what's actually hilarious about that though, that joke. I submitted an application for like a clean style comedy thing.
Okay.
And they wanted a sample, and I sent them that joke.
Marky, that's not clean.
Yeah,
That's-
but I didn't swear when I said it. So I was like, I didn't swear.
Did you get through?
I
Did
didn't
they
even
accept
get
it?
I didn't even get a rejection email. But
Oh, bugger.
no, I said this before. Like, my point for that, because I told a friend of the show, Chris Martin, about this story, and I said mine wasn't to win the competition or to get through even. It was just so the person that had to review all of the
Clean
comedy
material.
clips that
Yeah.
were clean and boring had one glimpse of hope to get
just-
them through their
Yeah,
day.
that's actually, you're a really kind person.
I'm not looking for thousands of followers. I just
No.
want that dude to find my Facebook and find and like the
and
clip
send
or
you
something.
a message and be like, hey, bro,
Yeah, hey,
thank you.
hey, you're not getting through, but
But
you won
cheers.
me over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like I did a clean set a couple of weeks ago, for an outdoor gig at a cafe. The brief was no swearing, and I did. Not many people rocked up to it, so they said do longer. So
Yeah.
I was set for like a 10 or 15, and I ended up doing 20, and I only said shit twice
Classic.
in 20
Woo!
minutes. No other swear words.
Marky, I've never heard you go that long
I
without
haven't.
swearing.
I don't think I have since I was about 12. I don't think I've ever gone that long.
Wow.
But your comedy's quite clean. Like, is that intentional or?
It is, I didn't swear, as in use any bad words, until my 3rd year of uni.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah, and it's because of my grandma. She
Oh,
told
okay.
me that if you are swearing, it's because you have nothing better to say.
Right.
And I was like, I have better things to say. Yeah. And then 3rd year uni, I realized that I really didn't.
Take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, was that what? Okay. The first time you ever swore, what was
Yes.
the situation?
What was the situation? So I have this really fun, I think it's fun, game that I now play, which my parents introduced me to.
Okay.
Where you're in a car and you pick a signpost on the side of the road and you
Yeah.
pick another one in the future or in the far distance.
You can still see the future one.
You can still see the future one, yeah.
You just don't imagine it.
No, you know it's there, and you can see it. And then in between those two signposts, you say as many rude, bad words as you can think of until you get to the second signpost. And as a person who hadn't sworn before, I was running out. Like I was just saying things that weren't even rude by the end of that, but it was really fun.
You just
Yeah.
because I think that some people with Tourette's don't just swear; they say random words.
Oh,
So you have Tourette's for like 100 meters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where you just say everything.
Yeah,
But I also, because I grew up not saying rude words,
you ran out.
I ran out, but I also had weird replacements that I'd kind of grown up saying instead.
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, but my sister would say muffins
Oh.
instead of a rude word. She'd be like, "Oh, muffins."
Oh, right.
So that one came out a few times.
Yeah. And do you find because you went for so long that it still sometimes jars you a little bit if someone's
yeah.
over the top?
Yeah.
Like, because I've been desensitized to that like yonks ago.
No, so the first time that I went to comedy
Yeah.
and did stand up,
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Specifically by the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just how many rude words, how many dirty
Yeah.
jokes. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm in a new world and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. It would have been pretty confronting.
Oh.
And also, there's so many different types of personality. Like, I've been part of, like, groups and shit, you know, like, I was in the RFS for a little while just
Yeah.
as a junior. And whenever you... Oh, hang on. We'll just take a quick break. Thank you. I just got to chuck new batteries in that.
I support you.
Please flip over the tape to side B to hear the rest of this podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, we're back.
Right.
So getting through not swearing
Not
until
swearing,
you were like in
first
the
time-
3rd year of uni. How
Yeah.
old were you at that point?
I started uni at 18, so I would have been That's too much maths. 19, 20, 21. I did just count with my fingers. That is.
You nearly got away with it just with the audio-only listeners, but you had to explain it.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like the pause between each number was very obvious that it was like,
trying
counting.
to, figure it out.
Yeah.
So 21 was when I properly started.
Wow,
swearing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. So, like, normally guests on the podcast, we talk about, like, things that they did that were, like, bad. Like, for example, some people talk about the first time they did drugs or anything like that. But for you, it's just
Nah.
swearing, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
I feel-
A+, gold star.
I feel like comedy would have been a shock because I was talking about this. Like, it's not just I was in the RFS for a little while and that sort of stuff. Any new thing you start, you meet new personalities, but most people are still within like the realm of fairly normal. And if they are weird, I can pick up on it, but I know it's behind closed doors. So you're like, all right, not many people know this about that person, but you do weird stuff and I can tell. Because I've been around weird stuff and I can tell. You know what I mean? Like you pick up on it.
You're in the know. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If you know, you know. Chris Martin, shout out. So if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Davey Bluetooth. Anyway, so it's like I know he's the only one that will listen to this as soon as it comes out. And anyone else will wait
He's so
until you're famous and try and find something in there.
Yeah, incriminating.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to the person that's listened through 83 episodes just to try and incriminate one of us.
One of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That person really needs to get alive.
Yeah. See, you did it without swearing. See, it's still good.
Thanks.
Someone's looking back through this episode because you were at an award ceremony and after years of not swearing, you finally broke and said every word you could within 100 meters.
Yes.
But I feel like with comedy, there's that realm of personalities is so much wider.
Everyone's different. Everyone has some strange backstory or is creating a strange backstory.
Yeah.
And my first ever gig was at the Polish Club.
Yeah.
And there's a backstage space. And
Right.
I was the only woman in that backstage space,
Right.
which is like quite closed quarters.
Yeah.
And I was like, all these people are taller than me. All these
Yeah.
people are saying rude words and dirty jokes. And I don't know what I was in a cardigan.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Was that one actually yours?
Yeah.
Is anything actually ours these days?
That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so definitely a shock, but
Yeah.
I've grown to fully love comedians.
Yeah.
They're some of the most fun, but also most true people you'll ever meet.
I think I prefer that. Like, at least I feel like I know where I stand with most comedians.
Yes, yeah.
Like I was saying before, the realm of personality tends to be restricted in most social settings, whereas I think comedy just seems like it's wider because they're not restricting it. Like, everyone else probably has the potential to display their full weird, but they just over years beat it down to a smaller sample.
I was reading Jimmy Carr's got an autobiography that I was reading.
That we're promoting here on the show today.
Accidentally,
yeah.
sorry.
No,
don't buy it.
No, still buy it, actually.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But in that autobiography...
It's hard not to promote it when it's
feel
good, yeah.
bad.
It kind of just promotes itself, yeah.
If I ever write a biography, buy it, please.
Yeah, and also he can return the favour then.
Yeah, sure. Give me a shout out.
Yeah, cool.
But in that autobiography, he talks about how comedians don't do the masking that people often do in order to get through their day jobs.
Right, yeah.
And that's why you end up with such a more vibrant understanding of who these comedians are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel that, and I agree.
For sure, yeah. Do you think that it helps also that you kind of got into comedy so young that, like, you hadn't had time to, like, restrict you, like, self or, like, be exposed to so many different types of personality? Like, I feel like you probably still have.
Yeah.
But just over time you would experience more naturally.
Yeah. I think part of me is wishing that I'd fallen into it earlier.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I have fallen into it young. And it's very interesting hearing people who've fallen into it later in life.
Yeah,
talking to me about their experiences.
Yeah, I think I first started when I was 23.
Yep.
And I think that I feel like I could have started earlier. But I've heard of guys, like I mentioned before, Dean Delray, he started comedy when he was 44.
Go him.
And he is in his 50s, and he has awesome range and connections and spots that he does. His full-time job and all that sort of stuff.
And also all the women in the women's room in Canberra at the moment, I just think they're so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're really funny.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of comedy is experience. So there's like a yin and yang of like, if you start too early, you haven't got experiences to talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas if you start too late, you haven't got time to talk about those experiences because you might be, just don't have the personal time to put into what takes to write jokes and do random shit like podcasts
But
and
I
things.
don't know if you found this, Mark.
You don't need to do podcasts to be a comedian, by the way, but yeah.
Well, you're making me feel like I should.
Yeah.
This is a cool setup.
Oh,
this is cool.
Yeah, audio listeners, go over to YouTube and just have a little
And
peek.
have a look, because there's microphones and everything.
Yeah, Rode, Procaster. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, but what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I don't know if you found that since trying to become a comedian and becoming a comedian, you've looked at life differently as well.
Yeah.
And you've like found new jokes in things that you otherwise wouldn't have noticed. Is it just me? Like, I feel like I walked into a Macca's the other day and I saw that on the roof they'd put the order here sign. And ordinarily, like, I would not have even thought about that twice. But then my comedian brain was like, why is it on the roof? Like, who is that for? Is it for someone who's stoned and looking up at the roof? I don't know.
I think it's more so for autistic people that can't do eye contact. They just because a natural place for someone that's in the spectrum to look is up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that tends to be where there's less likely to catch eyes. But yeah, anyway,
potential reason.
Yeah, or just stoned, which is like being in the spectrum for like 4 hours. Yeah.
Or a baby that's really hungry.
Yeah, but they just point.
Yeah,
true. Maybe the manager is a baby and they said, where would you like the sign? And it just pointed
boss, up. Yeah.
Boss Baby. That would be a great movie. So funny. I don't think that
it's
it's
been,
an
no
original
thought.
Original thought. But yeah, so I see it's funny how two people can look at the same situation and potentially write two different jokes.
Completely.
So, like, sometimes there's what they call parallel thinking. It's where we look at the same thing, write the same joke, and then it looks like one of us stole from the other.
Yep.
But it might just be that we had the same idea from the same
base material.
Matrix.
Yeah.
Hey. Remember chemistry, where you used to have to grow stuff on a matrix?
Yeah, I failed chemistry.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least you didn't get mad and swear. So, yeah. What did you have to do to pass chemistry? Say fuck.
I was like, no, too hard, too much for me.
Say this.
Can I spell
it? You want to laugh? They gave you an F. Hey, so. Could you give us an F? Hey. Yes, to answer your initial question, I definitely look at stuff differently.
Yeah.
Some people can switch it off, and I did a spot in Sydney for a comedian called Darren Sanders, and I was chatting to him after the gig, and he said, wow, you never turn off. Yeah, which, I mean, out of context, that sounds like he's such an asshole, dude. He's such a good person. It's such a good person.
You're mates with him?
Yeah, no, well, I think I am, but he may have different opinions.
That's
but
okay,
I
Marky.
like him. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, imagine just someone just being like, hey, I really appreciate you having me up here. I think I did good. You did really well, man. And they're just like, wow, you never turn off, do you? No, it was more so like he had some crowd work, like this interaction.
Yeah.
And I was like so hyped by it at the end. I was just like, dude, you handled that so good. Like, and I was just like, I was thinking of this, and then you said it, and he was just like, oh yeah. And then I like said a joke on the spot based on that situation. It's just like, wow, you're always on. That's right. He didn't say you don't.
That's nicer.
Different. Yeah.
That's a way
He's like,
nicer
wow, you're always
version
on.
of the story.
So some people can just go like, I've just done my set, I'm cool, see you later. Whereas you've probably seen it at gigs and stuff. I'll be in the green room telling jokes to like 3 comedians while there's someone on stage trying to do jokes.
It's one of my favourite parts of being in the green room. Is when we're all talking together, making just really dumb
banter.
jokes. Yeah, banter.
Yeah. So I don't turn off, so I can look at every situation and think of the bit for that situation. Sorry.
You're okay?
Yeah,
It's got flashing lights, you magpie.
Yeah, I know. I'm just the ADHD. For anyone that doesn't know, I just looked at my recorder and then realised, oh yeah, that's cool. It's doing the thing.
It's recording.
It's like when you walk out of your house and you check to see if you got your phone, keys, wallet.
All the time.
And
yeah.
I've been driving in my car, and I just feel that there's no keys in my pocket because they're in the ignition, but they'll have that initial panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that's how that happened, you magpie. So then, so I sometimes we'll look at, I never turn off, but some people are chilled and they can. For example, when you mentioned that there, I'm already thinking of the order here sign. You said, oh, who thought to put it on the roof? Whereas I'm looking at it as like more of like a long form joke where you're kind of talking about like, who walks in to any other part of Macca's? Like, is there anyone at the urinal trying to place a fucking order? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I would take that. But that's because I also don't have tact and I can't just look at something as it is. I need to create a narrative and fill in every word that I think had too much gap between it with a swear word.
Nice.
And it's probably that, and that's why your style at that joke would be completely different from mine. So same matrix, two different jokes.
Different, complete, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, super interesting. Especially since the other night, Marky and I were at a comedy night in Queanbeyan.
Uh-huh.
And Marky on stage was like, when I'm thinking, my thinking word instead of
is fuck.
Yeah.
I helped you.
You really did?
Yeah. I feel like when I know you're about to swear, I'll take the bullet for you.
That's really kind.
It's like in the horror movies, the guy that's already been bitten by the zombies will hold them off while you escape.
Great. Awesome.
So
I'm coming to you in a zombie apocalypse.
Still hope for you, yes. Well, that's only if the apocalypse is saying swear words, and the way to stop from swearing, the way to stop from turning is not swearing.
It's not swearing. Okay.
Which, to be fair, would be quite an infectious way to spread zombie apocalypse, because what do you do in an apocalypse when there's zombies chasing you?
You swear.
Swear.
Yeah. And also, it would take you so long to figure out that that's what was going on.
Yeah.
That it was the swearing that was causing it.
That was doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Because you'd be looking at droplets. You'd be looking at, is this airborne?
Yeah.
And then, no, it's swearborne.
It is
That's
swearborne.
bad.
That's
That
so
was
good.
bad.
See, I would have never thought of that joke.
I didn't
Probably
mean to.
because it's just too good for me. Swearborne zombie apocalypse. Yeah, exactly. Like there'd be a lot of zombies between two guideposts in a family car there in your world.
Yeah, there would be.
I think that a lot of the time, as you're saying before, I do need to be more conscious of how often I swear on stage, not because I care about.
Not because I care. I'm just... What's your reason, Marky?
It's because I think my writing will be better if I stick to the points. So basically, I can swear later on once I got the joke down pat, right?
Yeah.
I can add that in, right? But before you say the swear word is the chocolate chips and the cookie, you got to make sure the batter is well mixed before you. If you put the chocolate chips in early, you're gonna smash them all up.
Really bad
they
batter.
lose their potency.
They do. They don't taste as good.
So that's a legitimate point though. Like I feel like if I didn't swear as often as a conscious effort on stage, it wouldn't be because I'm trying to like clean up my act. It's literally because I think that I'm taking away from words to make up that joke.
Stop, you're getting back to what my grandma said, where with the whole, if you don't have anything better to say, that's when you swear.
Yeah, well... No, I think that your grandma's actually right.
No.
I think that This is how quick I talk when I'm focusing on not swearing. It's like a minute between each word.
Between each word.
Yeah. No, but I legitimately think that maybe not as like a conscious effort every time, but I honestly do reckon that outdoor gig where I was told you're not meant to swear or like try to keep it to a minimal because there might be kids there. There was no kids there, but I just out of principle didn't.
Yep.
And I reckon that it did actually help. Like I practiced my set for Raw that day at that gig.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to Raw, I'd already done it before.
Oh, great.
Like in one set.
Yeah.
And also I think that because there's potential that if you win on Raw, you go through for it to be televised, you're not meant to swear in your final thing.
Oh,
so I needed to make sure that the material was to the point where I could do it on TV if I wanted to.
Yep.
Not if I wanted to, because I still want to, but I won't.
Is this with the latest round of
Yes,
Raw?
so with the last round of Raw, Laura was there. That's in fact what initiated this podcast, because I get a message from Laura when I'm in the green room saying, "Hey, I just seen you," and it reminded me to reply to your message. And and yeah, so it was the one of the heats for Raw. There's 3 heats in the ACT, and I was in the second one, so we still got the third at the time of recording. So once this podcast is released, we'll know how Laura went.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but at the time of recording, Laura's yet to perform in the Raw comedy.
So true.
And I was not. I didn't get through to the next round. There still is potential for wild card.
I was about to say, not necessarily, because there's still wild cards.
Yeah, so maybe. But I honestly was confident with my set, but I don't think that anyone that got through wasn't worthy of getting through. I reckon that I honestly don't know, even with my bias, I don't know whether I'd have chose myself to go through.
That's what's so scary, watching all these people and knowing that there's only like 3 wild cards.
Well,
is that they're really funny.
I tell you what's crazy, like, I didn't do Raw for the first couple of years of me doing comedy because I didn't think I was ready for it. And also, a lot of my comedy is more long form, so like it's hard to get a tight 5.
Down to 5, yeah.
And it's only the last 2 years or last 2 competitions, so they didn't run one. I think they just postponed the finals for 2020 for like 2 years, and then just did 2023. Yeah, like I might be wrong, but I feel like
they didn't run one last
year.
They
didn't run one at one point. Yeah, so I don't want to. I don't want to say that I wouldn't like to get through. Like I would love that, but at the same time, I reckon that it's hard for me to get a tight 5 because I'm used to doing longer.
Yeah.
And a lot of my jokes are like a bit longer form. They're not like as punchy. So I boiled it down to get that, but. Yeah, last year when I did it, I did the same thing. This year I did the same thing, so I don't mind going through and giving it another crack next year, and if I get through, I do.
Hang on, when you say the same thing, do you mean the same content?
Not both, like the same concept, not content. So when I say same, I mean same concept of doing like a 15-minute set and then boiling it down to a tight 5, So I did that with different jokes last year.
Yeah. Do you prefer 2020. Your set this year or last year?
This year.
Okay.
Every set that I've done for Raw, well, there's only been 2, but
But so far?
I've actually written multiple sets for Raw, but I've only performed 2. The first couple of years I just wasn't confident in them, so I didn't enter. Oh. But I think it's to the point now that, like, I have to do it because otherwise I'll be to the point where I would have, like, technically be too advanced to be able to enter. Yeah. So pretty much this year or next year is my only chances because I feel like by next year I'll be too far, like I would have grown too far to be classed as
an amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is exciting in itself. And like pat on the back for that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, that
But
is
also does
good.
put added pressure on Raw.
Yeah, true. But like at the same time, I'm glad when people get through to the next round. Like Jeremy Smith, who I've got a comedy festival show with, he got through to the next round. So I'm really happy for that. It makes me happy to see people that, even like Jeff. So Jeff started like not that long ago, and he comes to a lot of open mics and
Is he new?
fairly new. Yeah.
Wow. He's good.
Yeah.
He's
so
good.
yeah. So that was good. Yeah. I think everybody did good. Yeah.
Damn.
But I guess it depends on how you go on the night. I guess. Yeah. I think you'll do well.
Touch wood.
What do you have any like what's it called? Any teasers for us? What are you planning? you do musical comedy?
I'm doing musical comedy. I'm
Yeah.
doing guitar comedy instead of keyboard.
Yeah, okay.
And I may or may not be wearing glasses.
Oh wow.
Not for the comedy,
Yeah.
just because I finally bit the bullet and have got myself
Wow,
glasses.
okay, yeah.
So I might actually be able to see the front row.
Wow.
I know,
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just like that's a good test for comedians. Instead of the number and like the chart where the font gets smaller.
Yeah.
It's just a comedy club and you
how
describe
many
the
faces can
facial
you see?
features.
Yeah. At the moment, none. 0. It's
Yeah.
not good.
No, that's really cool though. I like that. I like that you're jumping in there and not doing what I did, where I wasn't very sure of myself. Although I feel like you fit a lot into 5 minutes. Like when we're at mics
Yeah.
and stuff, and you do a 5-minute set, even with the guitar, I feel like it's really easy to do longer sets, especially when you're playing songs.
Yeah. No, so that's why I'm playing the guitar instead of the piano. Because with my guitar, I do really short songs.
Yeah.
Whereas my piano is usually like 3 to 4 minute songs
Right.
each.
Yeah.
And so that would mean that I could only do one song.
Maybe two.
Which
if
doesn't
you-
seem to be the vibe of Raw. I don't know.
No, that's what I was discovering myself.
Yeah.
I just reckon that I really needed to within 5 minutes I got if I've got a 15-minute spot, 5 minutes from like 5 minutes through to the 10-minute in 15 could be one joke, one
Yeah.
story.
One story with lots of jokes inside.
Yeah, whereas
Yeah.
for Raw, I managed to fit about 6 different topics in there, and they all had at least one, probably 2 major punchlines in there.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm really happy with. I think that my Raw set will be one I'll keep up my sleeve for if I ever need to do 5 for like any sort of showcase
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah. I also was having a thought earlier, which I'm now going to say out loud.
Yeah.
When we were talking about how much you swear during your sets, and you were like, "Oh, I want to, cut down on how much I swear." I reckon that you should get someone to tally how many times you swear in
Yeah.
your set, and I reckon that person should be me.
Oh, wow,
And that we
'cause
should
you're-
shake on it now.
Okay.
That the next set that you're at and I'm at, I'm going to get a little whiteboard and tally how many times you say a rude word on stage, and then
Right.
afterwards I'll report back to you, and you'll know.
Holy shit. All right.
This sounds fun.
This is where it happens. We're going to see a mystery shopper style.
Yeah.
How many times I swear on my next set that Laura sees. Now, I'm not going to shake on whiteboard. You can do it on your phone.
Oh,
So
sweet. That's actually a good idea.
I'll give you
Yeah.
that loophole.
Thank you. Cheers. I don't own a whiteboard, so
yeah,
thank you.
I'm not going to make this an expensive exercise.
Whew. Close one.
And also, I'd only narrow it down to the basement if I said whiteboard, because it's the only venue which is close to an office works.
Oh, true. That I can quickly sneak across.
And it won't be very sneaky if you come in with the only size they had was 2 by 1 meters.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Laura's doing some physical comedy. She's got a little whiteboard here and
No.
she's going to draw stick figures on there for me.
I'm doing maths.
Yeah, she's going to draw Marky with a dominatrix Scotch fister, like in the comedy. That's a callback.
It is a
yeah.
callback to the start of the podcast.
Yeah, unless that bit didn't come through and all of a sudden out of context, I just seem like I'm just making up some backstory.
Which is actually also funny in itself. So either way.
Yeah. Hey, unless this is now appearing in front of millions of people from the person that tried to cancel the podcast because they only clipped that part as a sample.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So many things to think of.
Too many.
Yeah, so that's good though. I hope you do well in Raw. And if you're listening to this episode, you can go and check out Laura's stuff to see whether she did get through. It's like a
on
little
Facebook.
Hey, I'm going to call it now. Hey, congratulations, Laura. I'm just going to say thank you for getting through to. It's good that.
Wow, thanks, Marky.
We got to put it into the universe now.
Yeah, my parents were both there. They gave me a standing ovation. It was amazing.
They seen you on stage, and we're just like,
This is why.
this is the reason she did this is because
Yeah.
we told her the swear word game.
Yeah.
To try and break that cycle. Now, there was a question about that. So that was your grandma that said don't swear, but your
Yes.
parents that told you the swear word game.
Yes.
So was that like some like resilience to grandma?
Have you heard of rebellion?
Yeah. So was that actually it?
I think it's yes.
What's it, skip a generation or something?
Look, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I also think that in my household, you start off your life very tidy. So you'll tidy your bedroom.
Yeah.
And then you'll get really messy for like a segment of your life.
Yeah.
And then you'll come back to being super tidy.
Right.
And I think I'm currently in the messy period of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back to the super tidy period of my life.
Yeah. It's
So
like
it's kind
you're
of like that.
rebelling against yourself at that
Yes,
point. So
yeah.
like your old you is the one you want to piss off by being clean.
By being clean.
Yeah. I compete against myself a lot.
Do you win?
No, I lose most of them, but
That sucks, man.
yeah, I'll get there. But no, I legitimately do compare myself to previous versions of myself. It sounds stupid,
Nah,
but
I
like
do the same.
I like write goals, and then I like, for example, with my podcast, I have like a few goals, like for listener goals and like content goals and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes I can subconsciously be working towards them without realizing. So like I'll forget about my goal list, say for 12 months.
Yep.
And I'll go back to it and I'll be like, wow, I didn't have this list in front of me and I wasn't making a conscious effort.
And look at me
But
go.
I just knocked 3 of those goals out. But then I'll move the post. Like, for example,
Yeah.
when I first started, I was just like, I just want to get to 50 episodes. And this is episode 83, so, like, I've done that. And obviously
it.
the next one's the 100. But also I like to have milestones. For example, episode 50 was with Tom Ballard.
Nice.
So it was cool to, like... cool to have him on. But I also have a weird thing for multiples of... or anything ending in the number 3.
Right.
So, because I was born in 93, and I have lists of... you've seen my list, how crazy.
I have, yeah.
So I have lists of dream cars, and I want to have one from 73, 83, and 93, like as my 3
dream car
like project
years.
car
Yeah.
things, yeah. Because 93 year I was born, but then like the previous 2 are just multiples of 3. I'm just like, how cool is it to have one from every decade
Yeah,
and
that's so
watch how
fun.
they evolve?
Now,
over the
you are
years.
talking to a member of or an ex-member of the ANU Car Appreciation
Oh.
Society. Yeah.
So
so-
what's involved in appreciating cars at ANU?
Well, at the time, I didn't actually know how to drive,
Okay.
which they didn't know. And when
Yeah.
they found out, I was no longer part of the club.
Oh,
So ex-member is definitely true. But when you say that you want cars from 1973, 83, and 93, I'm like, go for it, Marky. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, well,
Appreciate those cars.
I think 93 will be a motorbike. I reckon.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not a car.
Yeah, it's what they call a crutch rocket. No, so that's what actually a slang term for a motorbike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's like more of a sports bike, whereas I prefer like more like cruiser type bikes, like bigger, heavier bikes.
Classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But a crutch rocket is the slang name for like more like sports bikes and stuff, which is so funny. It's such a fun. There's so many funny slang words.
Oh, out there for lots of things.
Yeah. But I reckon that my favorite, my favorite bike from '93. I'm not gonna bore you with bike talk too much, but
Phew.
this it wasn't a bike appreciation club. You got
No, it
kicked
was a
out of.
car appreciation club.
It is so there's a movie Terminator.
Yep, I've
Terminator
seen
2. It's
I'll be back.
yeah. So that's Terminator 1. So in Terminator 2.
I'll be back again.
Yeah, I'll be back. I forgot something.
I forgot to see if the door was unlocked.
I'll be back. Terminator 2. I forgot my fucking keys.
Yep.
Terminator 3. Won't get far without these. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Trying to play it off cool.
Amazing.
You forgot to say please. That's a line from Terminator 1. Terminator 2. So he drives he rides a 92 like Harley in that, and it's very similar to the 93. So although it's not the same bike from the movie, it's very similar, but only it's easier to get because it's not as sought after because everyone wants the one from the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas I want the following year because it looks like the one from the movie, but the
it's
year
cheaper.
matches.
And the year matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. More importantly, the year matches.
The best part about it is the bike model is called, it's a Harley Davidson Fat Boy. What a fucking awesome name.
Okay.
So, and I literally, the whole reason that I was like, that sounds fucking hilarious is because I'm also a 93 Fat Boy.
Sweet.
Hey.
Do you know how to ride a motorbike, or is this just like a dream? Okay.
Yeah, cool. I have a motorbike.
Well, that's one step in the right direction.
But I don't ride very often. But yeah, I have a bike and a license and all that sort of stuff.
I went on a Vespa once.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I screamed the entire way.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was really scared.
That's what most people do on a Vespa inside.
Oh, okay.
Just like you thought before, now I'm putting it on the outside.
Yeah. Is it because they're so embarrassed that they're on a Vespa?
No, because it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel way more comfortable. I haven't ridden a scooter on the road. I've ridden one on, like, a test track because I was just like, you got to do it once.
Yeah.
So I just thought that if I was to ride this on the road, I'd be worried that people wouldn't hear me and merge over the top of me and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be concerned that I was going to get run over.
It's also why I'm scared of Teslas.
Yeah.
Because they're silent.
Scary.
Yeah. They can
Yeah.
sneak up on you.
That
like a
Tesla's
rabbit.
scare lady, blah, blah. Do you know that?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
so she loves the environment, but she hates Teslas because, do you want to hear her
support it.
reasoning? And it's completely fucking reasonable.
Tell me.
Because it's an electric car, and there may be of ways that they've combated this since, but if you take your foot off the accelerator, it instantly stops power. So it's equivalent to braking.
Whoa.
However, the brake lights don't come on
that's
because
scary.
you're not braking. So
Yeah.
someone behind you could, you could stop fairly suddenly,
And no brake lights
and
would
there's
come
no
on.
brake lights to alert them.
Yeah, that seems like a problem.
I think it's
should
a
fix that.
reasonable problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so with Lady Blah Blah.
Yeah, I'm with her too. I reckon that, I mean, she has a lot of crazy points, but that one's a good one. Yeah. You've got a show in the comedy festival.
do,
Yeah,
yes.
let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, 19th of March.
Yeah.
It is myself and Sarah Eisen.
Cool.
We're doing sketch comedy.
You're
So
nice.
It's very fun. We've spent the past, I don't know how long, coming up with all these different sketches, editing them,
Yep.
practicing them, putting them into silly videos and then sending them to each other.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
Awesome. So what's the format for a sketch comedy show?
So it depends on what type of sketch comedy show it is.
Okay.
So for our sketch comedy show, it's both of us on stage the entire hour.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of times where it's just one of us doing like a more stand-up-y bit,
Right.
or like a more musical comedy-y bit.
Yep.
But even for those, for quite a few of them, we have the other one involved in some way.
Okay.
So it's like a non-stop, hour-long, both of us going ham.
Cool.
Yeah. One of the really fun things, though, is with sketch comedy. So I've done lots of sketch comedy in the past. So I've done Women's Review, Law Review,
Yep.
5 years worth of sketch comedy.
Cool.
They're two different sketch comedy shows at the ANU.
Right.
Thank you. One of the things that I love about sketch comedy is that it's a completely different format
Yeah.
to stand-up comedy.
It is, yeah.
And so what's really fun about our show is that it's kind of mixing stand-up comedy and sketch comedy.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool format.
Right? So
Yeah.
there's audience interaction, which you just normally don't really get from sketch comedy.
Sure.
And then with the stand-up comedy, you're adding elements of sketch comedy into it, which
Cool.
is, it's just weird.
Yeah, part of me's like, it's surprising that hasn't been a thing that I've heard of yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a really cool dynamic.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm also finding it super scary.
Oh, of
but
course,
I'm
yeah.
enjoying it.
And do you reckon that so like a lot more planning would go into that show,
Oh
right?
my god, yes.
So how do you do? Is it like you mentioned you just do clips and stuff, or how do you plan it?
So my preference, and I think Sarah's preference as well, has been when we meet up in person.
Yeah.
And then we usually do like 9-hour long days.
Wow,
Where
yeah.
we'll be in each other's lounge room and we'll
Cool.
just be like plotting it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of the problems is any time that I've done sketch comedy in the past, I've always had like a cast that I'm either directing or that I'm part of, where
Yep.
2 people over there can take the table on that you need.
Cool.
And that third person can bring on the chair and that person can bring the moustache on.
Yeah.
It's just Sarah and I.
Right.
So all of our props and costumes, we need to get on and off ourselves. We need to do incredibly fast costume changes, sometimes happening on stage, but very safely. We are modest people.
Yeah.
And then it's
Very yes and type
very
people.
yes and type people. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm more
But
of a
it's
no
stressful.
but yeah.
I can tell. Yeah.
No, that's cool though. I think that there might be also some like moments within the show that might just be up to the chaos of the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like there might be some improv stuff there. You just need to let it write itself on the night.
Yeah. There are a couple of sketches where we are kind of relying on the crowd.
Crowd work stuff.
Yeah. And so we never know how they're going to react. We have a way that we want them to react, but we don't know if that's what they're actually going to do.
It's like one of those like online chat bots. You need to have an answer for every interaction. Like if they do this, then do that.
We actually genuinely in our script, we have alternative endings.
Yeah,
We have alternative ending 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
depending on what the crowd does.
Like a choose your own adventure comedy show.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh.
It's really fun.
And where's that going to be at?
It's at the Courtyard Theatre at Canberra. What's it called? Canberra Theatre Centre.
Yeah.
But if you want to know more about it, it's called Would We Lie to You? And there's a Facebook page.
Oh,
Or
there's
Facebook
a page.
event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Facebook event.
Yeah. There's a so there's an event. There's a thing on that messaging platform which you rarely reply to me on.
Never.
No,
yeah. Is that Instagram?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, but that sounds good. I like that. That by the way, that sounded super scripted. Like, and where can people find this event? Like, it literally. Wow, let me tell you about the magic.
Let me read from my placard.
Yeah. That wasn't a scripted ad.
No, but it could have been.
It definitely could have been, and I reckon that the ability to do all these festival shows and stuff for Canberra comedians is really good. And all the experience and planning that goes into putting a show together. Like, I've run a couple of shows, but this is my first Canberra Comedy Festival show that I'm doing. So yeah, mine's on the 22nd of
This
March.
is a scripted ad.
Yeah, this. So I, Marky Worthington, and my best pal Jeremy Smith will be at the. Yeah, there we go. Hey. There's Laura's holding up my flyer, which just happened to be in a pile in the corner of the room.
In reachable distance.
So I've got the got a show with Jeremy Smith called Consistently Different coming up in the Canberra Comedy Festival in the same room, the Courtyard Studio.
Sweet.
And yeah, I think it's really good that everyone's putting together shows. I've, like I said, done a few, but this will be my first Canberra Comedy Festival show.
What's the format for your show? So is it half and half?
Yeah, so Jeremy's doing half an hour. He's going to finish with some musical comedy because he does that as well.
Funny guy.
And then I'm just doing half an hour straight stand up. Now, we did kind of discuss how we wanted to do the turnover in the middle. So there might be some additional features to that. Ooh. Because we weren't sure whether we want him to just like bring me up, or whether there might be an overlap where we do something together in the middle, maybe.
Yeah, fun.
So yeah, we're still kind of debating that, but we both have half an hour, so either way we can do that. But if we want to do something in the middle, we could think of something cool, I think.
That's fun. As someone who has just written heaps of those, if you want to do something together, sketches with Sarah, I fully recommend it. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the sitting down and writing silly stuff together is super fun.
Yeah.
We've come up with so many dumb sketches just when we were really tired.
Yeah. I think sometimes getting into a different headspace like sleep deprivation is an interesting way to work. I find sometimes even on the way to work super early in the morning, I'll just think of something that has been a bit that I've turned into.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. Well, that's plugs out of the way. Let's wrap it up with that. Cheers for being on the show, Laura. And
Marky, thank you. This has been fun.
Cool. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Don't buy me a drink. Just name names.
Yeah, right. Big Tony, you'll get fucking thrown out
At a strip club with your floppy disk.
All day.
Make people feel shame for shit all day.
Don't blow
Turn it
it.
into a hard drive.
Yeah, right. You'll get fucking
We're here to
Keep it simple. Count your money.
that they're not proud of. Just give me $10.
All right.